Yo, welcome back to another video. It's your boy, Corey the Man. We back in here. I love that game, Lost Records, man. It was like one of these videos we found out, like Lost Records, PlayStation Plus. That's how I was able to play it. I'm hoping we see some more games, because in this video we got 20 free games coming in 2026. I'm ready to get right into it. Let's go.
I look forward at the best free-to-play games coming in the year ahead. I found over 50 of them, and I've whittled them down to a definitive list of the best 20 free games of 2026, across as many genres as I could find, from open-world RPGs to intense shooters, from survival games to sports games, and it's shocking how many anime games are coming out. All the expected dates and platforms are in the description if you want to know where you can play. I'm Adam. Hello there. Let's do this. First up, the game everyone is calling Anime GTA, Ananta. I've been following this game for years now without any real release date in mind, yet thanks to a Kotaku interview, we now know the game is being aimed towards a release date later this year, with the earliest we could see it in July. In terms of gameplay, Ananta blends countless other games into this open world of Nova City, the web slinging of Spider-Man, the tech hacking skills of Watch Dogs, the side quests of something like Yakuza, and the core moment-to-moment gameplay is most like GTA, including the character switch mechanic. The sheer volume of things to do is staggering, and that's not even mentioning the story campaign. We play as a supernatural investigator looking for paranormal events in the city. Our main goal is to subdue the mysterious force known as Chaos. There is supposedly no gacha elements in Ananta, with characters being unlocked through story missions. And there's so much to talk about in this game that I'm going to do a separate breakdown video in the next few weeks. So if Ananta looks like a game you want to play, be sure to check back for our deep dive. Coming much sooner than that is another anime-inspired world of Fate Trigger, coming in Q1 in fact, so between January and March. Fate Trigger is a hero-based tactical shooter with Battle Royale as its core mode, but if that doesn't float your boat, we've been promised other game modes will be coming in, starting with Team Deathmatch. Gameplay is both third person and first person. When we move around, the camera is behind us, showing us as much detail in the world as possible, and then when we aim our weapon, it seamlessly switches to first person. Gunplay is definitely important, but Fate Trigger is more than a shooter, as each character has unique abilities, from spotting and tagging foes, to claiming the high ground instantly, or summoning cover to hide behind. The sheer amount of ways of synergies will work with other members of your team is what will keep this game fresh. New maps have already been announced, as the devs find what map size is right for the player base. And we've been promised a constant stream of new characters and brand new abilities to continually change the meta. Fate Trigger comes to PS5, PC and Xbox Series before the end of March, so keep an eye out for it. Let's take a break from anime to look at a pirate RPG, Sea of Remnants. The art style is described as pirate punk, as we set sea in a huge open world, battling monsters and hunting for treasure. The exploration looks similar to Sea of Thieves, and depending on the boss fight, Sea of Remnants plays more like a Persona game, or Expedition 33. The trailers are using music videos to display the action, which explains why there's always lyrics in the bottom corner of the screen, which is pretty unique. On the seas we can go alone, but this is most definitely designed as a co-op experience and a true action RPG. While exploring, we can meet over 300 NPC characters, which, if we like, we can recruit to our ship. And we've been told that when night falls, all the tougher enemies and harder raids become available, making a day-night cycle that actually means something again. Sea of Remnants is going for a 2026 release, but I don't think it'll hit that. I hope I'm proved wrong. Coming much sooner, in fact on January 26th, is Highguard. This was the one last thing at the Game Awards, and the internet totally melted down with hatred, probably because it wasn't Half-Life 3. Highguard is described as a first-person PvP raid shooter. The example given in the footage was a castle siege, where the attackers first had to claim a powerful sword in the middle of the map, and then use that to summon in a battering ram to break through to the next objective. So ultimately, we aren't just running around shooting freely, we have to play the objective, so Battlefield players should be better at this than Call of Duty players, no shade intended. Highguard is made by some of the devs who helped create Titanfall and Apex Legends, so this has oodles of potential. Being a horse-riding arcane gunslinger sounds pretty good to me. Coming January 26th. Sports fans, we have a few offerings for you this year. First up is Goals, a football game which is mainly arcadey in style but is packed with simulation traits like organising the team tactics and choosing your ideal team. And this is all based around a core mechanic of opening mystery card packs to build your squad. Unlike FIFA, Goals has no official backing and every player is randomly generated. There's no real world comparison, which some players will enjoy but others will not. Both male and female athletes play together on the same pitch, which is another one which will upset some people. Oh, and I've been playing the beta and I can tell you how addicting the process of upgrading your characters daily is, especially with the mobile phone app while you're not at your console or PC. I had to delete this game because I kept thinking about it. Goals is coming in 2026 and is currently running beta builds on PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Another football game is Super Ball, which is football but in the future, but really it's Rocket League without wheels. Coming to PS5 in 2026, but it's out right now in early access on PC and Xbox. The core difference to Rocket League is the characters. Each of our heroes has their own abilities to use on the field, and the holy grail is using those abilities alongside your teammates to bamboozle the opposition completely. From what I've read on the forums, the netcode has already been improved vastly, so Super Ball could keep growing in 2026. Take a look at World of Tanks Heat, a vehicular warfare game set in an alternate world after World War II. A new type of war has begun where everyone uses a high-tech tank. In 5-on-5 or 10 versus 10, we team up and select our tank, and of course each one has its own strengths and weaknesses, forcing players to think about the makeup of the entire team, supporting each other to maximize your strategy. But of course there'll be one guy who just goes out all alone. Game modes include Conquest, Domination and even Search and Destroy, which will be hella interesting playing as a tank. Over time, more agents will be added to the roster, unlocking new experimental tank tech. The speed of a first-person shooter and the firepower of futuristic tanks. This could be a game changer. And of course there's another game doing a very similar thing at a very similar time. This is Loaders, a 10-on-10 battlefield where all cover can be destroyed, blasting through rock, shattering walls, plowing through sand dunes, which dynamically change the terrain. These vehicles are anti-gravity tanks that are totally customizable from the defensive options to the weapons we use. It'll be interesting to see which tank warfare game wins out in 2026. Loaders versus Heat. Hey, we haven't spoken about free-to-play anime games in a whole minute, so let's do that now. Neverness to Everness. Earlier I called Ananta Anime GTA. Well, in fact, this open-world gacha RPG wants that title too. We live in a bustling city where supernatural entities live side by side with humans. Our job is to investigate those anomalies, and if they're dangerous, we must neutralize the threat. Each narrative point is in its own chapter, and each one has its own vibe. So one minute you'll be playing through a spooky horror story, and then the next mission will be more like a comedy. The vibe changes constantly. Neverness to Everness is packed with things to do, like journeying to the arcade to play a spot of Tetris. We haven't looked at combat, but I think the visuals speak for themselves, which looks a lot like all the other free-to-play anime games to me. If you've played it, please let us know the difference. Anyway, the final tests are happening right now, checking if PlayStation 5 players can play alongside PC players without any technical issues, and also checking if cross-progression works perfectly with mobile players too. Neverness to Everness is expected to launch in Q1 of 2026, so we should hear more before March. Coming later in the year is Once Human, a PC game from last year which is coming to both PS5 and Xbox Series. Once Human is a multiplayer open world survival game set in a post-apocalyptic world. I know you've heard that many times over the years, so here's the intriguing part. An extraterrestrial substance can be found in the world called Stardust, and if we spend too long around it, it reduces our sanity and eventually transforms people into heart-stopping beasts and creatures. This is mainly a PvE experience, but there are also some raid zones for PvP players to have their no-holds-barred face-offs. We have a core story to follow, but we can do our own thing too, exploring the world and discovering boss fights, puzzles to solve, and random strange encounters that will make you question what is real, like a mirror dimension, where inanimate objects are actually alien creatures. Reviews on PC are generally favourable, so we console gamers will get our chance ourselves later this year. Back here in January, another PC game finally comes over to console, as 2XKO hits PS5 and Xbox Series. In this one, we are taking the characters from another Riot game, League of Legends, and forcing them to fight one another. The reason it's called 2XKO is because there's 2 players per team trying to knock out KO their opposition. This is made for you and a friend to play together together and tag team attacks. But there is also a solo mode too, which keeps that team mechanic. The game comes with an in-depth training mode to perfect combos and master moves in frame analysis. PS5 and Xbox, you'll get this on January 20th. And speaking of Riot Games and League of Legends, a new refresh is coming to League in 2027 that will reimagine the source material to bring in new players. So if you've wanted to try but never really figured out how to get involved, this could be the moment for you. They will rewrite the game's foundations to allow faster updates in future dropped across all platforms. League of Legends Wild Rift was the mobile version of this, and it was going to become a console game, but it was cancelled as the touchscreen controls didn't translate to controller as well as they wanted. And the other side of the issue is the amount of buttons needed for the PC version is instantly too complex for casual players. So 2027 will change all that, and hopefully League of Legends becomes less frightening to be a new player of. A game expected to make a huge impact in 2026 is Unending Dawn. It's another gacha game, but unlike all the others I've played, this has deep and challenging combat. Essentially, Unending Dawn blends Genshin Impact with hardcore Souls-like combat to create a dark apocalyptic open world following the Cataclysm. A super unforgiving game with a high skill level where timing attacks and parries is paramount. Just over a year ago, following investment from Sony, Unending Dawn went dark on social media, and have only posted once since then to ensure gamers the game is indeed coming. But just look at it, this could be revolutionary for both gacha games and Souls-like games. I'll keep you posted as soon as we know more. Do you remember Quantic Dreams, the team behind amazing games like Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human? Well, their next game is a MOBA, Spellcasters Chronicles, a real-time strategy battle arena, in which we play as powerful mages fighting each other for control of the source, a mysterious energy that can change reality and fate. In teams of 3, we cast magic, summon minions, buildings, and even god-tiered titans. Everything in this game depends on territory, so we have to claim more land to be able to summon our legions, and thus expanding territory is the only way to win. Each game lasts up to 25 minutes. Spellcasters Chronicles is currently in early beta on PC, with more info about other platforms expected in the summertime. Another January game now, one coming for the Genshin Impact audience. Take a look at Seven Deadly Sins Origin. Set in a fully open world, we dive into this official anime universe of Britannia as Prince Tristan. The original manga sold over 55 million copies, so even if you're new to it, like me, it's very much an established franchise. And yet, we will see a brand new story unfold in the game. We explore and put together a roster of heroes with unique abilities to fight a host of fantasy and sci-fi beings. Not everything is about large-scale fights. The exploration in this world has us doing smaller things, like choosing a mount. We capture animals from pigs to mythical dragons to become our travel companions. If this hits like Genshin Impact did, we have another behemoth of a game to enjoy, releasing on January 28th. Remember Mecha Break? It released in July 2025 and forced PlayStation players to sit out for a whole year. Well, the game kinda failed, and now the dev team are looking at the anniversary on July 1st, 2026 as the relaunch day for Mecha Break 2.0. The online team-based shooter that sees combatants jump into enormous Gundam-style mechs based itself around 3 principles. Defensive mechs could soak up more damage than others, support tanks could heal whilst on the battlefield, and offensive tanks could dish out more damage over time. Super simple, and it looked pretty good, yet over time it went from 80,000 players to just 1,000 players, and the devs feel like they know how to right this ship. We'll find out more during the year, but we expect July 1st, Mecha Break's anniversary, to be the day it is relaunched alongside the PlayStation 5 version. An early access game on PC is coming to PS5 this year. Dungeon Stalkers, a free-to-play PvPvE dungeon crawler, as we venture into dungeons and begin our hunt for treasures, avoiding traps and fighting off minions that protect them. All the while, other players are doing the same thing, and eventually you'll bump into each other. Dungeon Stalkers has the same fear of loss as extraction shooters do, as an ambush could happen at any second. The community has continued to give feedback, with combat the main sticking point due to how slow and tactical it is. Dungeon Stalkers currently has mixed reviews on PC early access, and we expect many of these things to be rectified before the official launch. So, how many open world gacha anime games have been in this video so far? I honestly can't keep up, so here's another one, Silver Palace. This time we are in a Victorian steampunk city and play as a detective. Everything we see has been evolved by a new rare element called Silvarium, and every power-hungry official wants to control it, some hidden in the shadows. Tensions have risen across the city and we are tasked with sleuthing out the bad guys. There's also a supernatural element, as in the trailers we can sense if people in the streets are hiding their true identities, like a werewolf. Looks pretty cool to me. Silver Palace is aiming for a 2026 release and all the platforms are in the description. And back to January one last time, as Arknights Endfield arrives. This is a 2-in-1 action RPG and factory simulator, and somehow those two very different things work really well. We find ourselves on the moon resurrecting an old mining facility, and while it's pumping out resources, we are exploring Talos 2, finding secrets, defeating enemies and keeping everything safe. Oh, and slowly unlocking our memories because we have good old amnesia. The mix of action and exploration with base building and management, who thought it would be possible? Well, it is. Arknights Endfield lands on January 22nd. And finally, a game that has been on this list for years now and always brings with it absolute confusion, Path of Exile 2. In 2026, this game will be finished and therefore it will be released for free. The isometric dungeon crawling RPG was so well received in paid early access, it's been there for over a year now. It's honestly absolutely worth the fee to play due to the depth of the character classes alone, but this video is about free games, so I checked the official line and yup, 2026 is the year this beauty leaves early access and becomes what it promised to be all those years ago, a free game. And that was 20 free games coming in 2026.
I like the Ananta, the anime GTA game, mixed with like Yakuza and other stuff. I want to try that. I'm whenever that comes out, I'm downloading that for sure, so we can stream that and see what that's about. None of these games last forever. What Drake say? You're here today and you're gone tomorrow.